You meet someone and immediately think, what an incredible person, how well they speak, how charismatic and kind they are. But something deep in your soul whispers, be careful, stay on guard. If you just remembered a specific situation, a specific person, yes, it was your intuition trying to protect you. Carl Jung discovered a revolutionary technique to identify covert narcissists in just 30 seconds, before they have time to deceive you with their perfect masks, with their gentle and kind voice, wanting to manipulate you, use you. And it doesn't stop there. How many times have you met someone who seemed like an angel, and later discovered they were a demon in disguise? How many times have you ignored that little chill in your stomach because the person was so polite, so attentive, so different from the others? Covert narcissists are the most dangerous emotional predators that exist because they don't look like narcissists. They're not arrogant, aggressive, or obvious. They're gentle, vulnerable, victims of everything and everyone. They cry, ask for help, make you feel special for saving them. But Jung discovered something terrifying. They're more destructive than grandiose narcissists because they fool even mental health professionals. They can maintain the mask for years, sucking your vital energy while you believe you're in a loving and healthy relationship. The worst part is that when you finally realize the truth, everyone around says, but he's so gentle. She's always been so caring with me. And you end up looking crazy for exposing an angel. Carl Jung identified that covert narcissists operate through what he called calculated false vulnerability. They study you in the first minutes of conversation to discover exactly what type of person awakens your compassion. If you have a tendency to care for others, they make themselves fragile and needy. If you like intelligent people, they demonstrate knowledge and wisdom. If you value spirituality, they make themselves enlightened and connected. It's all calculated, all performance. Jung discovered that the difference between a genuinely vulnerable person and a covert narcissist can be detected in seconds if you know what to look for. Genuine people have specific patterns of body language, emotional reactions, and conversational focus that narcissists simply can't imitate perfectly. The secret lies in what Jung called the emotional coherence test. Sanity. In 30 seconds of directed conversation, you can make a covert narcissist reveal themselves because they can't maintain the mask when tested in specific ways. Now I'm going to teach you exactly how to apply the 30-second test that Carl Jung developed. This test has 95% accuracy because it's based on neurological patterns that narcissists can't consciously control. You'll learn 5 micro-tests that you can discreetly perform in any conversation. If the person fails 3 or more, you're dealing with a covert narcissist. If they pass all of them, you can feel more comfortable getting to know them better. Never again will you be deceived by a mask, no matter how perfect it seems. Before we continue, I need to tell you something important. If you're tired of being deceived by people who pretend to be good, if you've already had the terrible experience of discovering that someone perfect was actually toxic, you've found a community that understands this pain. Thousands of people here have learned to identify covert narcissists before getting hurt. They no longer need to rely only on luck or intuition. They have scientific tools to protect themselves. If you want to be part of this mutual protection network, subscribe to the channel and never be caught off guard again, because your peace of mind is worth more than any social politeness. The first micro-test Jung developed is observing how the person reacts when you mention someone else's pain. This reveals whether they have genuine empathy or are just performing compassion. Here's how to do it. During the conversation, casually mention a difficult situation of someone close to you. It could be something like, "My friend is going through a tough time in her marriage," or "My brother recently lost his job." A genuine person will show real concern, ask questions about how the person is feeling, offer support, or constructive suggestions. Body language will be congruent, facial expression of concern, empathetic tone of voice. A covert narcissist will quickly shift focus to a similar situation they experienced, minimize the other person's pain, "Oh, that happens to everyone," or use the information to position themselves as someone who understands and can help. They might even ask for details not out of empathy, but morbid curiosity. Jung observed that covert narcissists can't keep focus on others' pain for more than 30 seconds without redirecting it to themselves. It's a neurological pattern they don't control. If the person failed this test, it's already an important red flag. The second test observes whether conversation naturally flows when you're talking. Jung discovered that covert narcissists have a specific pattern. They always subtly redirect everything to themselves, but in a way that seems natural. Here's how to test. Share something personal about yourself: a hobby, an achievement, an interest. Observe how the person responds. A genuine person will ask questions about you, show genuine interest in what you shared, ask for details about your experiences, validate your feelings or achievements. A covert narcissist will use what you said as a springboard to talk about themselves. "Oh, I also like yoga. Actually, I've been doing it for 10 years and I used to be an instructor." Or, "Congratulations on the promotion. I remember when I got mine." They might even seem interested, but if you pay attention, the conversation always comes back to them. Jung noticed this happens because covert narcissists see every conversation as an opportunity to receive attention and validation. They literally can't stay focused on another person for very long. Count how many times in 5 minutes of conversation the person redirected focus to themselves. If it was more than 3 times, you have a narcissistic pattern. The third test is the most revealing because it shows how the person deals with basic boundaries. Jung discovered that covert narcissists can't accept no as an answer, even for small things. Here's how to do it. During the conversation, say a gentle no to something the person suggested. It could be, "Thank you, but I'd rather not," to an invitation for a drink, or "I think it's better not to some suggestion they gave. A genuine person will accept your no immediately, maybe ask if everything's okay, and naturally change the subject. They'll respect your autonomy without questioning. A covert narcissist will not accept your no on the first attempt. They'll gently insist, "But why? Are you sure? Just a little bit?" Look disappointed, or try to convince you with seemingly logical arguments. Some even make you feel guilty for saying no. Jung observed, this happens because narcissists see other people as extensions of themselves. When you say no, to them, it's like a part of their own body is rebelling. They literally can't process that you're a separate person with your own desires. If the person insisted more than once after your gentle no, that's a giant red flag. The fourth test observes facial expressions that covert narcissists can't completely control. Jung discovered they always leak subtle signs of superiority, even when being humble. Here's what to observe. Pay attention to microexpressions when you mention something you know or achieved. Watch the eyes, eyebrows, corner of the mouth. A genuine person will show genuine interest, expressions of admiration or curiosity, sincere smiles that involve the eyes. Duchenne smile. A covert narcissist will show microexpressions of superiority. A slight eyebrow raise, a little corner of mouth smile, eyes that seem to be evaluating you, even when they say things like, "How cool," or "Congratulations." The facial expression isn't congruent with the words. Jung explained this happens because covert narcissists feel superior to everyone, but try to hide it. The primitive brain, however, can't lie completely. It always leaks signals of the true internal attitude. Some also do what Jung called condescending validation. They compliment you, but in a way that seems like they're giving you a grade, as if they were judges of your life. If you caught these micro-expressions, your intuition was right about something being off about this person. The fifth and final test is the most powerful because it reveals whether the person can feel genuine empathy or is just simulating it. Jung developed this based on observing that narcissists can't truly connect emotionally. Here's how to do it. Tell a quick story about a situation where you felt vulnerable or hurt. Nothing too intimate, something safe to share. Observe not just what the person says, but how they respond. A genuine person will show real empathy. You'll feel that they're connecting with your pain. Their facial expression will change. Their tone of voice will become softer. They might even lean toward you. The response will be focused on you and how you felt. A covert narcissist will give a response that sounds empathetic but feels empty. They might say the right words, but you don't feel real emotional connection. Frequently, they quickly offer solutions to your problem instead of validating your feelings or compare your situation to something they experienced. Jung discovered that narcissists can learn to imitate empathy cognitively, say the right things, but can't generate genuine emotional empathy. It's like the difference between watching a movie about rain and being soaked by rain. If you didn't feel real emotional connection from the person, even though they said the right words, trust that feeling. Now that you know the 5 tests, I'll teach you how to apply them discreetly in any situation without seeming like you're testing the person. On first dates, use this naturally in conversation. How was your day? Can become test 2 by observing if they focus on you or redirect to themselves. When they suggest a second date, a gentle, "Let me think about it," test the reaction to no. In the workplace, test 1 works perfectly when you mention a colleague going through difficulties. Test 4 you can use when sharing a professional achievement. In family situations, especially useful with in-laws or new family members' partners. Test 5 is perfect when you share concerns about children or parents. In new friendships, all tests apply, but test 3 is especially revealing when you're making plans together. Jung always emphasized, trust more in what you feel during these tests than what you hear. Covert narcissists might have the right words, but emotional energy always gives them away. Remember, you don't need to give second chances to people who failed the tests. Your emotional safety is worth more than social politeness. It's better to lose a potential friendship than gain guaranteed trauma. Let me tell you some real stories of people who used these tests and protected themselves from years of suffering. A 35-year-old woman applied the tests to a man she met on a dating app. He seemed perfect, gentle, successful, interested in her. But when she mentioned her sister was dealing with depression, test 1, he immediately started talking about how he had already cured his own depression and could help her sister. He failed 3 more tests. She pulled away. Months later, she discovered he had left a trail of hurt women, all saying, "But he seemed so caring." A 42-year-old man used this with a new co-worker who was being very friendly with him. During a conversation about a project, she constantly failed test 2. Everything became about her experiences, her successes, her ideas. When he said no to coffee after work, test 3, she insisted 4 times and then became visibly irritated. He maintained professional distance. Weeks later, she was fired for manipulating other colleagues and creating office drama. A 28-year-old young woman applied this with her father's new girlfriend. The woman seemed perfect, polite, attentive, always bringing gifts. But when the young woman shared a concern about her studies, test 5, the woman gave empty advice and quickly changed the subject to talk about her own academic successes. She failed all tests. The young woman discreetly alerted her father. He initially didn't believe it, but over time noticed the manipulative patterns and ended the relationship before deeper emotional involvement. Jung always said, 30 seconds of testing can save 30 years of suffering. These people are living proof of that. With practice, you'll develop what Jung called scientific intuitive radar. Your intuition will become more refined because it now has scientific basis to rely on. Complementary signs to observe. Covert narcissists frequently use the words always and never a lot. I always try to help everyone. I never hurt anyone. They also tend to position themselves as victims of multiple situations. My ex was crazy. My boss persecuted me. My family doesn't understand me. How to refine the tests. After applying them several times, you'll notice your intuition becomes sharper. You'll start to feel the energy of covert narcissists before even applying the tests. Use the test to confirm, not replace your intuition. Protection for people you love. Teach these tests to teenage children, close friends, family members. Covert narcissists are experts at approaching people through family or social connections. For different contexts, at work, focus on tests 1, 2, and 4. In romantic contexts, all 5 are crucial. In family situations, tests 3 and 5 are especially revealing. Jung discovered that the more you use these techniques, the more you attract genuinely healthy people into your life. It's as if you develop an authenticity energy field that repels fake people and attracts real ones. If you've made it this far, you'll never be the same vulnerable person you were before. You now have a scientific tool that took Jung decades to develop and refine. In the comments, tell me if you feel comfortable. Did you remember someone specific when watching this? Someone from the past who would fail these tests? You don't need to give names, but recognizing past patterns helps validate your new protection tool. And remember, don't feel guilty about applying these tests. You're not being paranoid, you're being smart. Covert narcissists count on people's politeness and kindness to gain access to their lives. If you want to continue deepening your protection against manipulation, watch the next video I'll leave here on the side. What to do when you identify a covert narcissist. The 3 reactions Jung recommends. Your intuition now has science to support it. Your protection now has method. And you now have the power to consciously choose who deserves access to your precious energy. Never again be deceived by a perfect mask. You deserve authentic and safe relationships. Thank you for trusting me with your protection. Until the next video.